Town Hall 10 Academy, Week 2. Dun dun dun! Hey guys, it's Mr. Smiley here. So I wanted to do a recap of our first Town Hall 10 Academy Week 1 session. We had 10 participants from, I think it was 5 different UWA clans. There were a couple other guys there, like myself, Prodigy. Ed built a base and was there to help with donations. And we went through one Town Hall 11 and one Town Hall 10 base. We had built a second Town Hall 10 base if we had time, but it looked like 1 hour on each base was about the right amount of time. And it was a fun social event. I mean, it went as well as I could have hoped. Lots of tips and tricks were given. Even some of the failed attacks. There was one really interesting attack on a Town Hall 11 where the actual attack didn't work out as well as hoped, but there was one little element there where the attacker had a giant and like 9 goblins, and it actually did a really effective job of clearing out the trash on the building. So everybody has something that they can offer. Don't worry about, hey, failed attacks, or I'm not as good as the rest of these guys. Everybody has something that they can teach, even if it's just by accident. So, so I did a recap of it. It's up on the Terps YouTube site. It's 3 of the best hits on the 11 and then 3 on the 10. So I'm going to try to do that every week. And, for those of you who aren't able to make the sessions, you can follow along through videos like this. I'm going to try to do a weekly kind of focus session like this to just say, here's what happened before, here's what we're going to do to change it a little bit, here's where we're going in the future. So I think that probably, this is your week 2 lesson plan, I guess. So what we learned from the first session, and, we launched it kind of as a beta, and the anticipation was that we'd probably get a lot of stuff wrong, and then would fix it and would improve it from week to week. So I think each of the first several weeks are going to be, a lot more changes than once we get it up and running and we feel like we know what we're actually doing. These PowerPoint presentations will probably get a little bit shorter and lighter and more of just kind of fine-tuning focus than big picture changes. So some of the things that we realized that we do need to make changes for are smaller groups. So we're going to group into groups of 6. Easier and clearer sign-up process. Better guidance for spotters. A big part of this project is to get people more used to voice chat. And, so the first part of the session was just getting people used to the voice chat. Now we're going to focus on helpful spotting and making sure that it's really useful for the attacks. The clan perk and donation limits ended up being a lot bigger of a deal than we thought it would be. So fewer target bases. We're going to go from 3 to 2 and see how that works out. We need more lighter targets so that people can get that successful feedback on a more realistic base. We're not here to go, from 0 to 90 instantly. Let's try it out on an easier opponent first, and then, as we perfect it on the kind of the 86K, 85K, then we can have a 90K there also to try it on. Facilitator training, part of the goal of this is not just to have a weekly class. The goal of this is to teach everybody how to do this kind of methodology so that you can do it elsewhere. You can do it in groups when Smiley is not there, nagging you to do one thing or another. So smaller groups, we're going to group into about groups of 6. The benefits of that are that there's going to be less lag on the voice chat. There's going to be less background noise. There's going to be more focus on the attack that's actually happening. There's going to be easier spotting. Viewer limit, we didn't bump into that limit because we had less than 50, or I think we had about 15 people. And not all of them were on the voice at exactly the same time. But, as we go along, we can't have a class of 50 who's all focusing on an attack that only allows 15 people to watch. So by breaking into groups, you probably won't have more than about 6 to 8 people actually watching each of the friendly challenges at a time. So also breaking into groups makes it more scalable to allow bigger class sessions. It's a lot easier to, maybe have an intro session, in one chat and then break off into multiple smaller chats, group A, group B. And they're all working semi-independently of each other. And then if there's a question for me or, one of the other administrators, you can just type it in the Town Hall 10 Academy server. So also, small groups, getting good at small group practice removes the need for class sessions at all, which is one of the goals. So easier and clearer sign-up process. I don't really like sending people to yet another third-party site or yet another app. I know, I get it. You don't really want to do it. That being said, it's a pain, but that being said, this is really easy to use. Upgenius is what we use for a couple of my son's different sports teams for getting volunteers for setup, bringing orange slices, whatever. It's clearer for participants, easier to manage for administrators. You can set it up in the future for automated reminders so that I don't have to remember to remind you to build a base. As you can see here, you can group into groups of 6. If you're coming with a clanmate who's never been before and you want to make sure that you're in the same group, that's fine. Just sign up in the next group. Otherwise, if you're just signing up from week to week, just pick the first group that still has available slots. And then as you can see at the bottom there, we're also going to have target bases, and you can sign up and require lower weight guys. So we need more weight guys going through the program, but this will allow, this will make sure that we do have the lighter weight bases that we can feel good about being able to attack. So guidance for spotters. So this is pretty long here. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but we'll put this slide up in one of the chats in the Town Hall 10 server. Basically, just getting used to it, being realistic about what you can accomplish, and making sure that the voice spotting is a useful tool. We're not getting good at it just for the social aspect and just for getting better at attacks. We want to get good at voice spotting too. So here are some good tips for what to focus on while you're doing the voice spotting in each session. Making sure you're testing out the lag. Here are the 3 things that the spotter is looking for, or multiple spotters. You can have one focus on the defensive clan castle, one focused on hero health, and one looking for cleanup drop points, especially in a 10 versus 11. But also builder huts. This is something that can work and be useful at all levels, not just Town Hall 10. We're focusing on Town Hall 10, but as we start just nailing all these bases, the Town Hall 9s and Town Hall 11s are going to get jealous and want to start doing this too. So take a look at this when you get a chance. New location, especially as I watched the recap of the attacks from the first session, it looked really nice to have that, and clean to have that Town Hall 10 Academy under the attacker. That being said, it was a total pain in the ass. So we're going to move to Life Source so that you can get all your clan castle troops in one request, and have them all be max level. Yeah. Alright, so fewer target bases. We're going to have one Town Hall 11 and one Town Hall 10 per base. That gives us about an hour per base. It's less of a hassle to burn and raid armies. If it turns out that that two bases for 6 people is not enough, then we can adjust further. But so more lighter targets, we're going to have that. After you do, we don't want this to turn into a friendly challenge session, but as we go through this, and the guy does finish their attack, and you want to do a couple extra practice runs on that target, that's completely fine. Two runs just to say, okay, I got my debrief, I got my information from the team. How would this have worked if I could get another crack at it? If you want to do that by yourself, as long as everybody else is then moving on to the next attacker, and you can still participate and listen to what everybody else is talking about, and it's not a distraction, completely fine. So our goal here, let's keep an eye on the big picture, is turning participants into facilitators so you can take this back to your clan. You can arrange extra sessions, not just at Tuesday night. We understand that Tuesday night is very American focused, very, what our time zone. Not much we can do about that other than make sure that we're training the participants so that they can go out and they can train other people too. That's the whole goal, is not just to have a small group of people who are good at this, but have a small group of people that are good at this and then can go into other groups and train other people to be good at this too. Have in-between sessions have sessions in between the weekly meetings, or even schedule your own weekly meetings. So where we're headed with this, I don't want to spend a lot of time on how you should organize your Town Hall 10s as a clan, but what I'm doing with our Town Hall 10s and what I think makes most sense is have everybody have a certain level of proficiency at both 11s and 10s. You know that at some point you're going to have to hit one of them or the other. But that being said, as you're doing your war plans for your competitive arranged wars, it also makes more sense for guys who, even if you have kind of a blue belt level at any base, then you have your guys who are really, really focused on becoming black belts at Town Hall 10 versus 11 attacks, and then Town Hall 10 versus Town Hall 10 attacks. And so, you want those guys to be working as teams together too, and figure out what they enjoy the most and what they're the best at. And then the Town Hall 10 hit teams, I have a couple notes here of how we're going to plan on doing this, and have groups of 3 where you just, from the start of the war, you say, okay, this Town Hall 9, this war, you are just there to do a demo of a Town Hall 10 base, probably the 2 lightest bases. And then the Town Hall 9 guy and the pair of Town Hall 10 guys, the 3 of them are all going to plan to hit 2 bases together. And then, then you get 1 crack with the Town Hall 9 as a demo, and you get 2 Town Hall 10 attempts to take down this base. So that's what we're going to try, as you guys go through the Town Hall 10 Academy and take this back to your clans. I think it makes sense to try to organize it like this, bring feedback to me, what is working, what isn't working, and we can try to improve the program based on your feedback. So that's it. Look forward to seeing you Tuesday. I'll be sending out some reminders about building bases and such, but let's keep this going, keep the momentum going. Let's have some fun with it. Keep bringing more of your clan mates to the sessions, and I'll see you there.